I'm Lat Gemara. Today's daf is daf Samach Beis. This is for Acher and Shel Pesach, and we learned recently about chlekes between Rabbi Lozer and his Rebbe Rabbi Yechanan, and basically they're arguing. We're talking about ribis, lending money with interest. According to Rabbi Yechanan, if you lend money with interest, even though you committed, as we said, two lavin, not just one for neshech and one for marbis, but nevertheless, regardless, you don't have to return the money. You don't have to reimburse the borrower. However, Rabbi Eliezer says, we take out the ribis from you, b'dayanin, but only if it's ribis mahatayra, ribis tzutza, a fixed ribis, and which has been planned from the beginning. Where the ribis is only midrabanan, like through a method of buying and selling, then we do not take the money back from you, even though it is us. So we have these two opinions. Now we're going to introduce Rab Safra, and it sounds like it's a third opinion, but we're going to try to analyze what Rab Safra is saying. And in the conclusion, it'll be that he says something very similar to Rabbi Eliezer. Amar Rab Safra said, Kol she'ilu b'dineihem, in the Goyish courts, if this case would have come up, they would have said to the borrower, they would say to the borrower, look, you got to pay the money. It's a legal document, and everything was above board. Then the dineinu, in our dinim, machzidin, we will, in such interest, we will return back to the borrower. The mal back from the lender to the borrower. We make him return it. However, but any case where in their courts they would not force the borrower to actually pay it, then in our courts, then we in our courts would also not take back from the we will not force the lender to give it back to the borrower. Now, what exactly does that mean? If they don't take it, then we don't force them to give it back. The Gemara will explain in a minute. I don't understand. Klolu, is that a kind of a rule? What about saw b'saw? Remember we learned that if I lend you a saw of wheat, a measure of wheat, and you have to return to me a saw of wheat, that is a problem with the rabban of ribs. Now, where's the ribs come in? Because perhaps it's a possibility, so it's not fixed, that when you return the wheat to me, the price has gone up. So I am going to get more value than what I gave you. It's always rabban because we don't know which way it will go. And so therefore, it's saw b'saw. Now that's only with the rabbanon. Yet b'didehem, in the Goyish court, if somebody lent the thing of saw and he wants to get paid with it, of course the court is going to force the other guy to pay him, and so the court will force him to pay. And yet in our case, you yourself are moide when it's only ribis with rabbanon. We do not make the malva pay back to the labor. The b'nei might seem the labor the malva. In their dinim, we make the labor pay the malva. And you said that wherever in their courts we make the labor pay to the malva, in our courts we make the malva with no real interest. We make the malva return to labor. In this case, in the Goyish courts, it'll make the guy pay back the saw. And yet in our courts, even you'll be moida that we don't force the lender. You, Rabbi Eliezer, will be moida that you don't force the lender to give back that interest. So what's going on here? He said that's not a good example. You know why Rabbi Yeshua said Inu. When he said Goyish courts, we're talking about they recognize its interest and they say, so what? Interest is not a crime, and therefore pay it back. I mean, loan sharking is a crime, but over general interest rates are not a crime. But here, in the case of saw b'saw, they don't even look at it as if it's a loan. They look at it as if it's a pekadon. That I gave you to store, I store by you this, and you give it right back to me. So it's not a question of loan and interest. So it doesn't come under this rule that Absafra gave. They look at it as a trade pekadon. Okay, Rashi. What about the following case? That what happens if you gave me, let's say, there's a lender and a borrower gave a security, a mashkin collateral, gave him a vineyard, right? Gave him a vineyard, and the lender is permitted to eat from the grapes of this vineyard, without deducting it from the principal. He did not take it. Now, this is still not considered ribus mahatera. Why not? Because who said it'll be a crop? Not every year you're guaranteed to have a yield. Could be it'll be a drought. Could be it'll be a flood and ruin the crop. And remember, mahatera ribus is only if its tzutz has been fixed and been organized from beforehand. But here it was a case of a mashkanta, and you're allowed to eat a grape without any deductions. The bedin here's an example in their courts. No question that if the labor goes ahead and starts eating from the grapes, they'll take it away. Because right now this property belongs to the malva until you pay up, and you have no right. The bar has no right to the grapes, and yet, according to your rule of Safra, it should be that we should force the guy to give interest back, and we don't. Now, we're not going to make the malva give it back to the labor. Amalei, so he said again, that's not a case of interest. They don't look at it that way. They look at it inu b'teida zvina asali. They look at it totally different. They say that's as if the borrower sold his vineyard to the lender, and when the borrower was prepared to give the money back, as if he's buying it back. Nothing to do with interest, not a case of interest here. And that does not fall under the rule of Reb Safra. So the Gemara, so what's Reb Safra talking about? This rule that he gave, the comment of Safra in their judicial system. My what's he trying to say? This is exactly what he's trying to say. So, which case is he talking about that in their courts we do not take it out from the leiva to the malva, and in our courts we will not make the malva give it back? What case are we talking about? So he says, we're talking about it. Kol she'il b'nei mitzim leiva the malva. He's like this. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Call anything she'ilu b'dinein in their courts, in their jurisprudence, mitzim leiva the malva as interest. We will make the leiva pay it. Then b'dineinu. In our system as well, we would tell the lender reimburse it. For example, my new ribis a fixed ribis. Rabbi happens to agree that if the fixed ribis, the malva has to reimburse the labor with that extra interest. But if in their laws we do not take it out, then in our case we would not force the lender to give back this interest. What are we talking about? Ribis mukdemis. If the guy, in order to entice the lender to lend him money, gives him a gift before the loan took place, definitely that is not considered interest, because even in their courts, it's not considered interest because they can't force the guy to give him a gift to entice him. And the same thing is the guy, after he pays up the loan, a week later he goes and gives him a nice present, which is ribis. But their courts, they are not going to enforce it because you're not mechuyev to give a gift to your lender after you pay him back. But so therefore, in our system, we were not going to. If the malva accepted these gifts, he doesn't have to return it. Okay. Now we're going back to our Mishnah, where our Mishnah talks about a case as follows. Remember, we spoke about that there's different kinds of loans. So the Mishnah talks about marbis and gives an example. What's the example of marbis? So the Mishnah says the following. We give an example of Paris. So the Mishnah said, if let's say, this is what the Mishnah says, the person bought wheat for 25 dinrim. He bought it for 20 for 1 din of gold, which is made of 25 silver coins. And what do you call it? He bought a car, and that was the price at that time. And then he said to him, the way we learned Pshat in the Mishnah is, he said to him, I'm prepaying you. I don't want the wheat right now. Give me the wheat in 6 months' time at the price of right now. But right now, that is the going price. And then when he came to pick up the wheat now, what he is supposed to get back is actually worth 30 dinrim. Now, that isn't a problem. Why isn't that a problem? Because the shar, we said last time that two possibilities where there's no interest. If there was a fixed price at the time, you prepay the fixed price. So and I give the lender the money, even though just have to give it back to him for 6 months, so he has use of the money. But because the lender could have bought it right now, and if he would have bought it right now, it would automatically and give it back to me straight away. Because available, that's the price. He could have bought it anywhere. So therefore, it's as if he bought it and gave it back to me. So whatever increase in value, it's the borrower's increase. It's the lender's increase, and it's not a case of ribs. And so what happened was, it came the time to pay. He said, "Look, it's $30." He said, "10 lichitai." The guy said to him, "No." So the lender said to the borrower, "Give back my wheat. I lent you a quart of wheat for 25. Didn't give back my wheat." And he says, "Give me because I want to sell it. I can get now $30 for giving my wheat, so I can sell it. I'll make a profit." That's what the lender wants. And what I want to do with it, I want to buy wine. So then the guy says, you know what? It's worth $30, but I don't have any cash in me right now, but I do have wine. I'll tell you what, I will give you $30 worth of wine. I'll give you 30 dinner worth of wine. So the Mishnah says, this, I'm telling you right now how it's an inclusion. There's no money involved there because there's no money right now, just a debt. He said the $30 I owe you the debt, but I'm going to give you $30 worth of wine. And because if he has wine right now, if he would have had wine right now somewhere else, he just not giving to him right now, then because you don't want it, you want to wait 6 months for it, for example. But because it's right here, right now, it's as if I already gave it to you, and any increase in value, it's your increase in value. So it's a lender's increase in value. So there's two possibilities where we say either if the guy gives him money, prepays something. He prepays, I don't want for 6 months, even though the value might go up. But since if the price is fixed, that this is the price, and the lender could have bought it anyway right now for the money he just received, that's as if the borrower already received his goods, and any increase in value is the lender's. And another possibility is, so if the lender already received the money, it's as if already sorry, the borrower, if the borrower received the money, and what do you call it? But the price is fixed. Therefore, the lender could have bought the goods right now, or the borrower could have bought the goods right now. It's not considered an interest because if the lender already received it. Same thing is if the borrower has this, like he borrowed wheat, but he has other wheat, you could have given to him straight away. Any increase in value is as if it was already the lender's, and the increase in value belongs to the lender. But the Mishnah is talking about a case where there was no wine, and because there was no wine there right now, it looks like there's interest there. It's only Rabbanan, but there's interest because the $30 wine or the $25 chitin became $30 wine, but it doesn't have any wine. So therefore, whenever it's not like it became the lender's, and any increase is ribs in value. Okay, so the $30 wine is like an increase in value because you're only letting $25. So therefore, it looks like ribs. That's the way we're going to learn the Mishnah is the outcome. But right now, we're going to learn the Mishnah and see how Abaye want to learn the Mishnah, Yosef, and how Rava learns it. Rava learns the way we just said, that either, and that's why it has to be, there's no wine there, because if it would have been wine there, it's as if already he gave it back to the Malva, and any increase in value, it's the Malva's increase. So you have two choices, but we'll see that Abaye learns all you have is one choice. The only thing that matters is whether there's money there or it's just a debt. If there's money there, if the money was handed over, then any increase in value in the goods is as if it was already the Malvas and went up. But if if there was no money there, he just said, "Look, I owe you it, and I'll give you wine in its place." And any increased value in the wine is considered ribis. That's how Abaye learns. So let's go through it. A bit complicated, but let's go through it. Says the Gemara, "Ein lo yayin." There's no wine. That's what the Mishnah said, and there's no wine there available. Kate, sorry, Mishnah. We will continue. Yeah, Kate, look, I'm in a chiti b'dinazov. We bought wheat for dinazov. Hakore v'chein hashar, and that is actually the price. Says the Gemara, who cares? There's wine. There's no wine. He says, okay, you give me back my wheat. The guy says, I don't have wheat, but I have $30 worth of wine. And we say, you're not allowed to take it. What's the wine is there? The wine is not there. But Tanya, the Braisa ain't poiskin ala is we do not make deals on fruits. You don't prepay on fruits unless the price has been fixed. Until the price has been fixed. And because otherwise, the price isn't fixed, and I give you fruits today, $25, and when I come to collect in 6 months, it's $30. It looks like the reason why I'm getting paid more is because I had I'm charging you interest for the fact that I let you pay me in 6 months rather than straight away. That's why you pay me extra. That's called hamtona samais, leaving money there, and therefore you're paying interest for that. But yotza shar. But once the price came out, then paiskin you can. Because maybe this guy doesn't have the wheat right now. Let's say when you're prepaying me for the wheat, the lender's let's say is prepaying for the wheat, and the borrower is going to pay him back with wheat. If the borrower pays back, let's say in 6 months, but if there was wheat available right now, he could have taken that money. The borrower could have taken that money, bought wheat straight away, and given to him. So it's as if he did buy it, and it's already the lenders, and therefore the lenders' wheat went up in value. So it's not a problem of interest. Yeah. So so we're asking, as long as the price right now, the understands all that matters is the price is fixed. So who cares if there was wine available or not? Look at the price. If the price of wine at that time was $30, that's it. The Gemara, Omar Rabbi says, "Masisin Mishnah talking about the bolochai b'demeyaskina." Rabbi says, no, the main focus is money. Because if I gave you money, at the time I gave you money, then you could have taken that money and you could have bought whatever it is. So therefore, it's as if you already gave it back to Malva, and there's no increase in the interest. We don't consider the increase as if it's interest. It's as if the labor already been paid back to Malva. But if there's no money, just a debt, but that's what we're talking about here. Here we're talking about a debt. Came the time to pay, you couldn't pay me back my wheat. Instead, you say, no, I have wine. I owe you the money. Let me pay you off with wine. So it's like, what are you using to buy the wine? A debt. With a debt, we don't imagine that the wine here now belongs already to the lender, and therefore all it is a debt. And any increase of value is you're paying more than what he lent you, and that's it. So, but the time you learn, you lent your friend $100, and then you went and stood by his silo there, by his threshing floor. The lender says, "Give back my money." I want to buy wheat. The guy says, "I have wheat." I'll give it to you. Say, but also like a shashalach. He said, "Fine, let's work out to calculate the price of the fixed price that is today. And I'll pay it to you over the next 12 months." Also forbidden. Why? Why is that forbidden? Because there's no money involved there. Because you didn't have the money to pay me. Instead, you give me something else. So using debt. So there's no money involved using debt. So any increase in value is as if you're paying is by the labor. The labor hasn't given it to the Malva. It's an increase in value. I mean, the labor is paying more to the Malva than he borrowed. The lav ki surya bali other. It's not like money came to his hand. Because the money came to his hand, he said, "Look, if there was money, then the lender is as if the borrower bought the chitin already on behalf of the wine, whatever it is, on behalf of the lender, and as if the lender had." Okay, if you're telling me that the only factor, according to Rabba, the only factor is money. Is there money there available? If the money is there right now, if the labor has the money, then as if he bought it and he passed it on to the Malva, there any increases the Malva, there's no ribs. But if that's the only focus, so tell me, why does it matter in the Mishnah whether there was wine available or there wasn't? The Mishnah says, "Ein yain." The case of the trade came to pay the way, but to pay for the wheat. He says, "Look, I'll give you wine," and he didn't have any wine. As if that's the problem. The problem is not that he hadn't had wine. The problem is there's no money here. It's just a debt. And with the debt, if he's going to give it, pay with wheat and not give it now, but give it later, or give it with wine, not give it wine, give it later, it's as if there's an increase in value. Either like the my area, then why does the Mishnah say Ainla, he had no wine? That's the Yashirami. Makes no difference. He had wine, didn't have any wine. Same thing. And Elam because if you look at the Bryce is talking about the guy standing by the silo. So there is wheat over there. And yet the Bryce said it's no good because all we focus on is not with this wheat or this wine. All we focus on is if there was money. Elam Abai says, Masnisi, the Mishnah is Kiritani Rab Safra. The Mishnah follows Rab Safra. Our Mishnah argues with the Bryce. Yes, you're right. The Bryce focuses only on money. The Mishnah holds more than that. There's a Bryce called Ribus Verabchir, a Bryce that focuses all about Ribus, and says the Yesh Dvarim Shehem Mutarim, not things which are permitted, Basurin, but forbidden, Neharamas, not things which are permitted, but they're forbidden because of Haramas Ribus, which means it looks like Ribus. It isn't actually Ribus, but it looks like Ribus. Ketzer, for example. Money, let me $100. I'm money, I don't have $100, but chiti, the money, yes, I have $100 worth of wheat. I'm prepared to lend that to you. Okay. So he gave. So the lender lent $100 worth of wheat to the borrower. And then the chazar belochan heimenu. Then the lender turns around to the borrower who he lent wheat to. He said for $25. And oh. I'm desperate for the wheat. I want to buy back for you, but I'm giving you only $24. I know you need the money desperately. You need cash. I'm prepared to pay you $24. And he meant, it's permitted. Why is it permitted? I'm interested because one thing is not doing another. First, I lent you the wheat. $25, and then tomorrow I come over, I want to buy it. Separate deal. This is a purchase, straight up purchase. But nevertheless, the problem is it looks like there's ribbis. It looks like ribbis over here. So hachanami, yeah, it looks like ribbis. So hachanami here too. So he said, I'll tell you Pshat Mishnah. Our Mishnah is a whole different case. In fact, our Mishnah story that he had wheat is actually in the middle of the story. It's not the beginning of the story where Reuben borrows a Shimon and he pays him to give him wheat. No, it's the middle of the story. This is how it happened. Reuben goes to Shimon and says, Shimon, lend me $30. Amalei said to him, so Shimon says to him, look, this is all not yet mentioned in the Mishnah. $30 I don't have for you, but I have wheat for $30. I have wheat for $30. I'm prepared to give you. Then so Shimon gave Reuben wheat for $30. You want $30? I'll give you wheat for $30. Then the Chazav Elochem Hena, this is where the Mishnah kicks in. When the Mishnah says that he bought a curve for dinner's over $25, is the middle of the story already. This is afterwards. The lender turns around to the borrower and says, look, I know you're desperate for money, you need cash. I'm prepared to buy it from you for $25. Elochem Hena, but dinner's over. What about $25? So we say it follows. So if there's wine, so if the labor, for example, has instead of giving him money, gives him wine, he said, look, I want to buy for 25. Yeah, she's like, if there's wine to the labor, the Yoav labor shleishim dinner. So let's say if there's wine by the labor right now, and the labor still owes $30. The fact is, the labor owes $30, even though he bought back the wheat for $25. That's a separate purchase. The labor now owes $30. Now, if the labor would pay back $30 in cash, yeah, the other if there is wine to the labor, the Yoav labor shleishim dinner. So then, if there's $30 and he gives him paid with the kashakmanet, then all he's doing is taking fruits from him, and the less laba, then it doesn't matter. Then it doesn't matter. Oh, but if let's say the labor doesn't have any wine, even the less lechamra, because he has no wine, vadai mishkul zuzim, so he's going to end up taking money from him. Is merzik ribis? The problem is, it looks like ribis. It looks like he's giving him ribis. And that is the problem. Nothing to do with the case that we're talking about before. It looks like it's a different case altogether. So Gemara says as follows. Okay, so says the Gemara. Rabbi said the whole thing doesn't make sense. It might be right in principle, but the words in the Mishnah definitely don't fit in. Why? Rabbi says as follows. Rabbi says, place. If so, what do you mean? He says ten lichiti. What do you mean? You're telling me the story is totally different. That the letter says, "Give me my wheat." The meichiti by he's not into the wheat. He wants his money back. He lent him $30 worth of wheat, but he wants his, and he already bought the wheat back. And now what does he want? He doesn't want the wheat back. He bought it already. He wants the money, the $30 you owe me. So what's going on is, so we answer, Tani, you're right, say in the Mishnah that's talking about the money of the wheat. Even though it says wheat, he meant he wants his money back. So why does it say that I will sell? What do you mean the money of the wheat? That I want to buy wheat. No, I sold you wheat. Remember, I sold you wheat and then I bought it back for $25, and now I want you to pay me the $30 you owe me. So Tani, you're right. Learn the Mishnah, I actually, the one I sold to you. He says the wheat now went up in price $30. No, it doesn't. I lent you $30 worth of wheat. So it's not that it went up in price. In fact, it went down in price. It went down in price from 30 to 25. That's all he's prepared to buy it back for. This is what he's saying. The money of the wheat that you used and you bought a 30 dinar worth of wheat. And I don't have money right now to pay it back. I'll give you wine. The yayin ainlay, and he doesn't have any wine. So this was Rabbi saying here. Rabbi therefore disagrees with Abaye because of these technical questions. Now he disagrees with the principle, but he's saying that technically it doesn't fit into our Mishnah. In fact, Allah is like Abaye as well. So therefore, in our Mishnah is talking about that go back to the way we learned the Mishnah originally. That he basically that there was bought wheat for 25 dinar, and it came time to and he prepaid for it. So and then when it came time to pick up the wheat, the guy didn't have wheat. He said, "I want the money. I want the wheat now, which is worth $30. I paid only 25. I was worth $30." What do you call it? The lender says, "And I want to buy wine." So the guy said, "Look, I'll tell what I'll give you $30 worth of wine. The problem is I don't have any wine. So because I don't have any wine, so therefore you can't say it's as if he gave the wine back to the lender, and the increase in value, any increase in value in the future is the lender's. The yain ain't like." So the Gemara says, so the Gemara says, so I'm sorry, Abaye was trying to answer that with the money of the wheat, that was $30, is I'm exchanging it for wine. And so Rabbi says that doesn't make sense because it says in the Mishnah the koi was sold for dinars of, and that's the fixed price. But according to you, no, the fixed price was $30. So therefore, Rabbi learned the Mishnah the way we originally learned the Mishnah. Elam Rabbi, Kishachivna Rabbi Ishia, when Rabbi Ishia will pass away, is a nofik levasi. He will come toward greet me. Why? He'll be so happy that I interpreted certain Mishnahs to follow him. The Tani Rabbi Ishia learned. Rabbi Ishia said, if you lent your friend $100, and then he went to his silo there, give me $100 back. I want to buy wheat. And the guy said to him, okay, you know what? I don't have cash, but I have wheat. I'll give you $100 worth of wheat. Say, but also like a shash, we'll look at the price of today. I'll give you $100 worth of wheat. Okay. Man chitin limker, and he prepaid. When he came 6 months later or 3 months later, when he wanted to pick up the wheat in order to sell it, okay, give me my wheat. I want to sell it. Buy wine. I have wine. You want wine? I have wine. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you today's price. So everything now is a debt. There's no money changing hands. Just the debt is rolling over. So then it depends if the guy has the wine available right now, it's as if he gives it back to the lender and then he increases the lenders. But if he doesn't have the wine right now, then it's any increase is the borrower's. If he pays back, the price that he's supposed to, it comes out that it is ribis. Say was like let's go for a price. He gives my yank in case I sell the wine. I'm like telling you, give me my wine. I want to sell it, and the price keeps on going up. But look, if I want to buy oil, I'm like Shema. Yes, you look, I don't have the money, but I have oil. You want to buy oil? I have oil. I'll hold it for 3 months, and then you pick it up, and we'll work on today's price. And let's say like kulam. All of these cases, im yesh lemut. If he has it, the oil, the wine, the wheat there, it's good. It's as if he gave it back already to the lender. Any increase to the lenders, and ain't like us. If he doesn't have it, it is us. My lokach. What does it mean then when it says in the Mishnah lokach? It says that he took with a loan. Lokach ba'avos, and not he gave him cash. He took it as in the place in lieu of the money that he owes him. He took wine. He took other things as well. So therefore, that's shot in the Mishnah here that yain, yeshle or engle. If the wine is there, then there's no problem with ribis. If the wine is not there, there's a problem with ribis, at least mid the rabban. Because we don't know if the price will go up. Anything we don't know is not fixed, it's only mid the rabban. Okay, have a good yom tov. We'll continue next time.